We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes! Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Oh, well, welcome in. This is episode 159 of Tonight We're Drunk on the Birds.
This is great. 159.
We got who would have thought, but we got special guest joining us. We got Trav from Losing Sucks, so we got a little outside perspective. So Trav, tell us welcome in. Tell us
What up, boys?
Welcome. That's the first.
The Eagles coming off of bye is good for the fantasy football community.
Thank
I'll start
the Lord.
with that.
There we go.
When those guys are out, when you have like Kansas City and Philly and Miami out, it feels like half of your studs in fantasy are gone. So to
1000%.
get back AJ Brown, Swift, Smith, Hurts, like the whole crew, not Goddard sadly, but for the most part, everybody's getting their best players back, which is really exciting as we head down the stretch.
I was scrounging the bottom of the barrel to try to replace Travis Kelce. Good Lord,
I know.
that was
You
not
draft
fun.
him and you're like, I won't ever play another tight end. And then this week comes and like you're in a must win. It's like, now what?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Are they investigating that at all for the twisting of Goddard's arm? Did we hear anything more from that?
I haven't heard anything about it.
That was such bullshit. I'm still fucking mad about that.
I actually didn't even see the play. I saw
He got
that
when he
out.
was being brought down, the dude was like actively twisting his arm and slamming it into the ground.
Yeah, it was like a stiff arm that like
The guy
Yeah,
like
you just-
twisted and
it-
slammed it. Like
So
you could
we
tell
were
right
thinking
away. It's like, oh,
4
that's
to
fucked
6
up. You
weeks.
don't, you don't tackle.
Yeah, thereabouts. They're thinking that the week after the second Dallas game or Seattle.
Yeah. Then the
It's kinda that
scumbags.
targeted.
Then the scumbags dismantle the New York trash football giants, and all of a sudden they're gods. Fucking like that. I was watching a little bit of that game. Dak looked ass in the first quarter,
Yeah.
and I'm like, they're going to open it up because the Giants absolutely stink. And then they did,
They
and now
can't
all
get
of a
much
sudden,
worse.
Dak Prescott's an MVP, and CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in football. Get the fuck out of here! Stop it.
I'm a CD fan.
I'm
Beyond
a fan.
just
He's
fan,
not the
I
best
think
wide receiver.
I think he's in the top 5.
Oh, top 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
he's got
he's not the best.
Devontae Adams. Right now, AJ Brown's in there.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Nice.
Tyreek
And then
Hill.
you got Tyreek, Keenan, and CeeDee Lamb are all, Yeah, I think Tyreek is probably a lock to be in there.
Yeah.
Do you think CeeDee Lamb is a better receiver than AJ Brown?
No chance.
Nah.
Okay.
No.
AJ
mean,
Brown is
if-
just so physically dominant. It's hard
If
to.
AJ Brown
it's like
was-
Tyreek's speed.
Well, CD can't play the outside.
100%.
CD can't play the outside. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna get the mismatches. You're gonna get the nickel corners. Like you're going to get in space. They do a good job
Yeah.
of working him in space and letting him do what he does. But he's not. I can't say that a slot receiver is the best wide receiver in football because
Fair
he
enough.
doesn't have.
I
He
think
doesn't have the
Devontae Smith
physicality.
is the biggest beneficiary of the Dallas Goedert injury.
Oh,
I think
1,000.
we start to
He's
see
good.
the double-digit targets, the 120-yard games with a touchdown.
Yep.
Like what you drafted in Devontae Smith that you didn't get the first 8 weeks, you're about to get made up for big time over the last 4 or 5
It
weeks.
happens every single time, Dallas.
he's
Yeah.
so good. I think
Yeah.
he's a better receiver than AJ Brown.
And
I said that as a hot
running too.
Yeah, I mean just the craft of being a receiver.
Oh,
When
yes.
you watch Devontae Smith, he is as good as anybody in the league.
Oh, yeah. His footwork is insane.
Sure, I mean AJ Brown is a tank, so
Yeah.
physically he's unguardable, but Devontae Smith is artwork. It's awesome
yeah.
to watch.
His footwork is insane. His route running and his route tree is way better than AJ's.
And his
like you said-
career is going to be a lot longer for that reason.
Oh,
This is Devontae Adams 2.0 type.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And
Oh
look,
yeah.
I feel bad for Devontae Adams. Let's be real.
I do
That
too.
Fucking, they need to free him. They need to free him so hard.
They had a
don't understand.
chance.
I don't know why they didn't trade him. I honestly
I don't
don't
either.
understand why the Raiders didn't trade him. Josh Jacobs, just unload and get a shit ton of picks for the future because
Yeah.
and,
I thought it
and
was
then you
coming
decide
too.
then you decide you're going to win games. then you're
I
then
think
you're going
if-
to win games. It's like
I think
you're-
if Aaron Rodgers was healthy, the Jets might have paid the price for Devontae Adams. But that also tells me that I don't think Aaron Rodgers is actually coming back. Because if he was coming back in a month, they would have made a move
yeah,
for
I'm
I'm
Devontae
also
Adams.
surprised they didn't move on a quarterback. Like the fact that they've stood pat.
The
with,
Jets?
with
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
Zach
because
Salah's a
just
moron.
been-
Salah's
Yeah.
a moron. Salah has
But,
no idea how to run an offense.
You
But, like,
can't
Joe
score
Douglas is
13
there.
a game and compete.
No, you
The
can't.
thing that surprises me, right? Like Joe Douglas, when he was with the Eagles, built a pretty solid, pretty decent roster. But I just don't understand the roster construction around that team. And the most important position goes down early, and you have an opportunity to make a move somewhere in the league. Like I thought early on in the season when that injury happens, that they might go try to grab like Kirk Cousins, like that
Yeah,
they might try to grab Tannehill, like somebody
Yeah.
that's more established. But to ride with Zach Wilson, and then you saw his product, and then you still didn't make a move.
Yeah.
Just says like, I don't fucking
Yeah,
know.
Rex
there
Ryan
were
2.0.
options. There were options out there that they could have gotten. Jameis Winston. Like
Anybody.
imagine that offense with Jameis Winston.
Jameis
Sure,
Winston
he turns it over, but he's slinging it, and that defense will keep them in games. So yeah, it was disappointing, especially from a fantasy perspective, to watch the Jets.
Yeah.
Just their ceiling was so hard, so quick,
Yeah.
and you couldn't do anything. Like you're not getting that value if you trade them, so you just kind of are stuck.
Well, and
Jameis
then
Winston.
you look at that division too. You look at the way that division is played out,
Oh yeah.
and how the
It is ugly.
Bills look like, and the the fucking
The Bill-
Patriots.
hold
are
on. You said
atrocious.
the Bills look You said the Bills look
They
I
look
do.
lost. They
Bro,
look
the
They
lost.
Bills
look-
look like a product of what I put in my toilet after I had tacos.
And they are
Like-
lost, and it is easily Miami's division right now.
Yeah. If Miami
I mean,
doesn't,
Yeah,
they're gonna if they can kind of even hold it, like semi hold it together, they're gonna run away with it.
yeah.
that
I think
division
so.
is booty cheeks. Bill Belichick is coaching his way out of a job very soon. Robert Saleh is Rex Ryan 2.0, except his defense isn't his
I don't hate
Jets
that
defense.
take. That's a nice comparison.
That defense is tough. That defense
Yeah.
is tough, but it's not Revis
It's
tough.
really good.
And here's the problem: Rex Ryan rode that shit with Mark Sanchez and was like, "Yo, man, just don't turn the ball over." Mark
We've
Sanchez
seen this
was
movie
good.
before.
Yeah, I've seen this
100%.
shit.
Yeah,
But Zach Wilson has too many "what the fuck are you doing" moments. Like
Yep.
I can sit there and watch Jets football and be like, "What the fuck was that?"
Mhm.
And then I look and I'm like, "That makes no fucking sense for you to even try
they
to." force
shouldn't.
it."
They should not be on any national game the rest of the way. They should be flexed off.
Agree. They should flex half of the fucking games that they put out.
I just,
'Cause
yeah, I
it's
feel
terrible.
like through 10 weeks, we've seen some bullshit on
We've
the
seen
prime
terrible
time
football.
games.
It's been
Of all the
terrible.
good games, they keep choosing these terrible games.
Has anybody? We talked about this last week, Don. How much bad football is being played? How much bad football we are forced to watch in primetime spots, and I am so over it.
Yeah, it's very true.
I hate watching bad football.
That last week of primetime games, right? You had the Bills Broncos, Jets Raiders, and then the Thursday night game was the wait, hold on. What was Thursday night? Thursday night was Vikings
Bears.
Falcons.
Wasn't the Bears before that? Yeah, it was the
Oh,
Bears.
No, Bears Panthers. Sorry, I was a week.
Even worse.
Even worse. Right. So bad they had to bring Jason Kelsey to be part of the broadcast to keep it entertaining. God,
that was the best part of that 3 hours.
It was so bad. What was the week where I turned it off halfway through the third quarter and it was one drive a team had? They drove down the field for 9 minutes, and I'm like, this is fucking terrible. I can't watch it. It took them 9 minutes to go like 40 yards. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. This is such terrible football. And I don't think they even scored. I'm like, this is terrible. What the fuck are we watching?
It's been bad.
Listen, before we go and break down the Eagles-Chiefs, you mentioned Bill Belichick.
Yes.
What about Bill Belichick's tree?
It's the worst coaching tree in football.
That's fucking rotten as hell. Everything that falls off that tree is just bad.
It's not even a tree because they can't even plant roots and grow. It's like a fucking fungus. It's a fungus. It
makes Tom Brady look that much better every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crazy part. It makes it just tells you that Tom Brady was the reason why they won. And their defense. But let's be real. Tom Brady relied heavily on those defenses his whole career. Because my man didn't complete a pass like 30 yards at any Super Bowl or playoff game.
But he goes to Tampa and wins in Tampa immediately.
Exactly. Because it's Tom Brady.
Just like that was the fuck you. It was always me move.
Oh, God.
While Bill Belichick's saying fucking Mac Jones is a starter. 2 minutes left in the game. 2 minutes left in the game. You put in Bailey Zappi, who is fucking hasn't taken his first team reps. Ice cold. And you go, win me a game. If I'm Bailey Zappi, I'd be like, bro, you fucking stupid. Like, I'm going to turn the ball over here. I'm going to do a fake spike. Get everybody pumped up. Yo, I was dying because I'm like, oh my God, somebody's got to be open. And then I see the throw and I'm like, there was nobody fucking there.
I saw an interview with Gronkowski today, and he said, they asked him about the situation in New England, and he was like, if I'm Mac Jones, I ask for my release immediately. I want out.
Why not?
And he's like, it's not that Bill's a bad coach, but it's not working, and now you're making Mac look bad.
Yeah.
Like before it becomes a title, which it's on its way to being the same type of title that Zach Wilson has.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, we're a few games away from Mac Jones is untouchable. He should say, you don't want to play me. If you're going to pull me with 2 minutes left after I played the whole game, why am I here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
There's only one thing that separates Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, and that's Zach Wilson can actually throw the ball downfield.
That's
but
true.
Mac Jones kind of has a brain. If you put them both together, they'd be a competent quarterback.
Yep.
And you see Josh Dobbs fucking killing it.
Yeah.
We'll talk
that
about
guy.
That.
He looks great.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Let's get into the Chiefs. Let's talk about this.
Eagles Chiefs, right? The roster of the Chiefs, right, looks a little bit different than it did last year. You got it's basically Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and then what feels like just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Right. But you've got you've got MVS, you've got Rashee Rice, Justin Watson is the third guy. Sky Moore, Mecole Hardman, right? These are not like jump off the page, talent guys.
I don't think they even called Sky Moore or Mecole Hardman's name in the past 2 months. I know Mecole Hardman just got there, but he's
invisible.
That offense isn't what it was. Like, let's be real. That offense isn't what it was. I'm watching Mahomes every week scramble, look for Travis Kelce.
I would be shocked if they beat the Eagles, and I would be shocked if they went to the Super Bowl.
If they make it to the Super Bowl, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Mahomes is God.
But how? Like
I mean,
that's
we
the
watched the
how
second
is
half
he's
last
doing
year.
something.
yeah.
He's doing something to control the game enough. But that team is nowhere near the caliber of the Eagles team.
And their defense sucks.
Yeah.
Their defense is
But they've been
booty.
playing well. Their defense is
Ah.
coached well. They've been playing well. I think the Eagles
Spags
beat
does
the
a good
shit
job.
out of them this week. I really do.
Yeah.
I think
just
that
go ahead, Don.
this to me seems like a gotcha. Like this is the revenge game. This is the game where you come back and you kind of flex a little bit. It's obviously it's really tough place to go in and play in KC, but you get to put strength on weakness
Yeah.
in terms of their offensive line has holes. Mahomes is under pressure, and if there's any part of this defense for the Eagles that's their strength, it's that D line. Getting Josh Sweat and getting Hassan Reddick on the edge. Jalen Carter has been an absolute fucking disaster, creating havoc on every snap that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that strength on weakness puts them in a really good position to put Mahomes in a place where he's just going to constantly be on the run, which is a good and a bad thing, right? Because now he's got to, it's basically schoolyard play for him to kind of run around and look for a guy.
But what do you notice always on the schoolyard? They always have that one guy. They always have that one guy, and that's Travis Kelce. What you need to do is watch that Denver game and see how they beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
You literally pressed Travis Kelce on the line. You hit him every single time, and then you have one guy stay with him, and you bring the safety down. Because the Chiefs aren't going to beat you deep. They're not going to beat you deep. As much as I love Rice,
They don't have anyone who can.
No, they have no one who can beat you deep. Rice is phenomenal. Rice is Debo 2.0. Throw the ball to him after the yard, 14 yards down the middle after he just caught a negative 2-yard pass. That's what he does. He's an after the catch kind of guy, which plays perfectly for us because we can bring guys in, which we need to do because the Eagles need to stop playing that stupid fucking soft zone and press these guys. And when he scrambles, the first thing you do is find Kelce.
Yeah.
You fucking put a stop to that early. You hit
Vegas
Travis.
has them 2.5. Kansas City by 2.5.
That's fucking crazy. So that's honestly, it's telling me it's an Eagles line. What I see from that is I'm betting Eagles.
I would definitely bet the Eagles. I think they win by 10 or more.
It's one of those. It's one of those games where they need to come out, they need to score, set the tone, and get an early either turnover or get pressure early and get a nice big stop and go down and at least make it 10-0. And then you can just keep bringing the pressure, control the clock, score again, wear down this defense. I just look at this offense of the Chiefs and I'm like, everything revolves around Kelce. Everything revolves around broken plays, short little passes across the middle. Travis Kelce runs wild. If you stop that and you stop it on the first 2 drives, make Mahomes force some fucking passes because you know he will, and get him.
The Eagles had him beat. They should have been up double digits the whole second half of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were the better team that day by far.
Yeah.
Play him the same way. Give more attention to Kelce because he's the only one that beat you. If Justin Watson and Sky Moore beat you this week, fine. Don't let it be Kelce.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. You need to give him.
What are we expecting from the Philadelphia backfield? Not just in this matchup, but I want to know for the next 4 weeks, is DeAndre Swift a top 10 guy, or do they start to get Gainwell more involved?
It's all comes down to Juergens. Once Juergens coming back.
He's supposed to be back this week.
Do they want to split this up, or do they want the hot hand to get 20 touches?
No. I think they want Swift to get 15 to 17 touches. I don't think anybody's ever going to get 20 touches unless they're up big. The problem was with Juergens out, they couldn't run the ball to the one. It limits them because Juergens is one of our best offensive linemen, and he's in his second year. So, granted, yes, all the Eagles' offensive linemen are good, but missing
it was
that
just frustrating last year with. I had a lot of Miles Sanders, and I think when I came on the show, I was like, I'm obsessed with Miles Sanders. He's a great running back. I think everybody agreed he's a great running back.
Yeah.
But Gainwell and Boston Scott, like, they're still getting work. Is that just an identity thing for Philly? Is that what they're going to do down the stretch, or is it going to be more focused? Like, there's a lot of people need to know what to do with DeAndre Swift. Is it a hold and start with confidence? Is it a sell for a Josh Jacobs type? Like, is he really a top 10 guy?
If you could package him in, yeah. I mean, I'll trade him for somebody. Yeah. I'll trade him for a bell cow any day. But you're also looking at a guy who has the potential to hit home runs. You have the potential to break off 20, 30-yard carries. It's the best offensive line in football. And to me, it's not even close. But now that we're getting everybody back, and we're healthy, it makes Swift
want
that
pieces.
much better.
Everybody wants pieces of the Philly offense.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think your best case scenario to dominate this game is to control the clock. The more that you keep Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce off the field, the better off you're going to be. So I think you rely on your strength, your offensive line. The more that you can control that clock, the more that you can have we've seen them try to start games where they're starting a game with 12, 13, 14, 15 play drives that take the first 9 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Right. They're kicking the ball off 7-0 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
With 7 touches to DeAndre Swift.
Correct. So I think in this next stretch of games, right, where you're going to play KC, you're going to play Buffalo, you're going to play San Fran, you're going to play Dallas
teams
again.
I'm not fucking afraid of.
Here's the thing that I kept going back to with Rich. Everything about this team, to me, says even in times where they haven't looked great, they're still finding ways to win the games. Yeah. While other teams around the league, Bills, 49ers, Bengals, right? They all at some point in those same type of games found ways to lose.
You have to play.
Shut the fuck up, Mike.
You have to play perfect to beat Philly. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
For the last 6 to 7 weeks of the season, and especially in the playoffs, they give you nothing. You have to score 30, and you can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And you look at that one game that they lost, right? The game that they lost to the Jets. Right? The only reason they lose that game is because they turned the ball over 4 times.
Yes.
Right. And even with that, Trav, before they turn the ball over the 4th time on that last drive, they turn the ball over 3 times, and they still have the ball driving down.
Yeah.
With 3 minutes left, with a chance to go win the game. Even on their worst day, they were half a drive away from winning.
Do you guys fear San Francisco?
No,
not at all. I don't.
Because of last year's playoffs, or because you don't fear anybody at all? Like, if there's one team in the league that you think has the best chance to beat Philly, is it not San Francisco?
It's this team. The only team that can beat this team is this team. I'm not scared of Brock Purdy coming in.
Dak Prescott was 10 yards away from beating Philly 2 weeks ago.
But Dallas can't do it.
But that's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had 17 chances to win that game,
and he couldn't do it.
I look at that one the one play where they run a play on 1st down, and then they rush up on 2nd down to run a play that ends up right. That's in that moment where you have a chance to, all you got to do is control the clock and go down and win a game, right? Yeah. You have a chance to win the game. The 2-point conversion where he runs out of bounds, right? He's got Brandon Graham, right? Brandon Graham is running dead to the sideline.
Yeah.
All he's got to do is stutter step, watch Brandon Graham fly by, and walk in. And then they win. They would have won that game because the next drive that they go down and tie, they get the ball back and they're running out the clock and kicking a field goal. And we're sitting here crying in our tears for 2 weeks talking about how the fuck did we lose that game?
Yep.
That's
how it would have went down. I'm not worried about San Fran because our strengths match up with their strengths, our offensive line and their defensive line, but their defensive line doesn't match up against, or our defensive line doesn't match up against their offensive line. Like they can't compete in that way. Their secondary is terrible.
They have to be able to run the ball.
They have to be able to run the ball. But Fred Warner also, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
You stay away from the middle of the field, you're fine. Let's be real. Their corners are garbage. And Brock Purdy is another guy. He cannot throw the ball down the field. You stop everything at the line of scrimmage. Our strengths versus their weaknesses. They're going to try to force the ball to Christian McCaffrey. We've seen how that worked in the playoffs. We can shut that down real quick. What are they going to do?
So this time last year, Philly was undefeated, and I asked you on the show, do they lose a game? And you said yes. At some point, they'll drop one, just because that's the NFL, and you have a lapse. Of course. It happens. So they've already dropped one.
Yep.
Do they drop one the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think they're going to drop one. I'm looking at it as I was terrified of this stretch before I seen how these teams were playing on paper. I mean, the Bills on paper should be destroying everybody on paper.
Yeah.
And they look incompetent in many ways.
I still hope it's on prime time. Fuck. Put the Bills and the Eagles on prime time. That'll be a good game at least to watch.
I hope that they fucking decide to go, all right, let's make this an 8 o'clock game, because I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah.
I would rather watch that than whatever product's out there.
And that's a Kelly Green game too.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
I see them as much as I hate
in the lights.
As much as I don't know, I'm gonna look towards. I don't know. I was gonna say we lose a game to the Giants, but let's be real, the Giants.
Hell no.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
God, no.
It would be this week, or it would be the Bills. Would be one of the reasons, one of the games we would lose.
Did y'all play Dallas twice?
No,
I'm not. Dallas can't beat a team that's good.
I know, but you've only played them once, right?
Yeah, we only played them once.
The next stretch is right: Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, and then at Dallas and at Seattle. Yeah. Which to Seattle, me, I think in that group of games, I think the game that they're most likely to lose is Seattle. At Seattle,
we suck. Really?
It's a set. Well, listen,
we can't win there.
It's the fifth game out of that stretch,
and it's coming off
the second. It's the second consecutive road game. They're probably going to They're going to probably stay out on the West Coast. They'll probably stay. They'll go from Dallas to somewhere, in the Northwest. And they never play well out there. Even in that Super Bowl year, that game with Wentz, where Wentz makes that incredible throw down the sideline. That they for whatever reason, they figure out ways to lose out there.
I'll say I don't mind the call. I think it's for a different reason. They run the table until they get to Seattle. They've already locked up the 1 seed. They rest for health. Seattle's playing for everything still.
Yeah.
And maybe they beat the second string.
First
string Eagles, they're not losing. I don't think they lose to Seattle.
It's one of those things, right? Like,
but they high emotion. I mean, Seattle's still respectable.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. They're respectable.
Yeah,
but I look at it as you're going to come off a fucking bloodbath with Dallas. Like you're coming off that emotional roller coaster of, okay, you're in Dallas, you beat Dallas. It's always going to be a tough game. It's a boat race or a tough game. Like there's, it's not like one where you can honestly feel good about. And that's just Dallas. Like that's just how we play Dallas. So we beat them in a close game. And then all of a sudden we have to stay out on the West Coast and play in a harsh environment like Seattle. It's tough. It screams to me. You're taking an L. And not because I want them to lose. It's just we don't, like Don said, we suck in Seattle. Seattle's a real tough place. And you're playing back-to-back home games in basically the West Coast.
Yep. Yeah, and I think they also know going into that this next stretch that like the last 3 games, they could roll out a B squad and probably take care of the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Giants.
Yeah. Because what's the point of even? I mean, if you have it locked up,
I think they start to get careful the last
think you
3 or
have
4
to.
weeks. You have to.
I think you have to. I mean, you look at it as, you know what, you take your reps, you do what you got to do in practice, you play a quarter in.
Didn't Jalen Hurts miss the end of last season?
Yeah, so he got injured in the Bears game, and then missed.
Which was what, 16 or 17?
Yeah, he missed.
He missed the fantasy
He
playoffs.
missed.
He
He missed
did.
3. Yeah, he missed the 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He ended up coming back and playing the last week because they needed to secure the number 1 seed.
Yeah. And that's another reason why, DeAndre Swift hasn't really been super effective. Jalen was dealing with the knee injury. So Jalen dealing with the knee injury with the RPO, they know he's not going to take off. It kind of shuts that down. And that's kind of a reason why I hate the RPO, because you're still running that offense when Jalen can't run. I mean, that's when you just kind of got to get creative and just hand the fucking ball off and set up your blocking. Don't worry about that shit.
It's a good line to do it behind.
Hell yeah, it is. And back to KC, like how I'm looking at it, I think it's going to be Birds 31-17. I don't think it's going to be close. And like I said, get up, score early. And the only way you lose is if Travis Kelce beats you. If Travis Kelce has 2 touchdowns, we lose.
Yeah.
We lose because he's the deciding factor in this. And you should be watching what Denver did. You should be watching how to eliminate Travis Kelce. And then you win. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way you should lose to this team because they're not.
I agree.
They're not that good. They're not the Chiefs of old. And they are really missing having a number 1 wide receiver.
I agree.
Rich, you got a player of the game?
Player of the game, I'm gonna go Swole Batman. Let's say 9 for 149 and 2 is what I'm looking at. It's going to be a big game, EJ Brown.
I like it. I'm going like
the
30.
Eagles D-line.
Ooh.
Just wreaking
Talk to
havoc.
me.
Yeah, let us know.
I think people fell in love with Pacheco so quick. This is one of the games where if you have him, there is no chance in hell you're playing him.
No.
And we said this last year. I mean, all this stuff keeps popping in my head. I was like, the Eagles are going to be good for a really long time. And you guys are like, oh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a decade-long dominance here.
Yes.
Because, like, the stuff that you need to replace is very replaceable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, oh, you just replace Jason Kelce, but those type of things you can go get. It's much harder to get a Jalen Hurts, an A.J. Brown, a Devontae Smith. Like, the core is in the D-line so young. They're not even getting paid yet. Most of them aren't even getting paid yet.
Right.
Getting Jalen Carter was a steal.
Thank you.
Thank
the
you,
next
Arthur
3
Smith.
to 4 years are going to be the exact same conversations. Like, oh, do they run the table?
Right. But Trav, the 2 guys that are playing next to Kelce are both guys that they drafted to replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens were both drafted as centers, and they're like, nope, we're going to slide him to guard.
It's going to be seamless.
Yeah.
And at some point, right, next year, right, they've got the draft picks to be able to replace the offensive line if they choose to.
Mm-hmm.
So they go get another guard. They slide one of those guys into guard, right? And Landon Dickerson is, playing at a Pro Bowl level. Cam Jurgens in his first year playing great.
What the fuck were the Titans thinking?
Twice.
How do you just give somebody A.J. Brown?
Because Treylon Burks is A.J. Brown, -8, bro.
Shit, man.
He had the same size and intangibles.
People should be fired for that move.
Oh, he did. I mean, that guy got fired.
Oh, he did.
He did? Okay, good.
He got fired. I don't even think he made it. I don't think
he didn't make it all year.
All year.
Good.
But
yeah, that every A.J. Brown touchdown is like, oh, you're getting closer to getting fired. Oh, you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
And to think about it, right? What was that really over? Like a couple $1 million?
It was like, what are you doing?
It was like the difference between like 22 and 25 million. I was like, really? Like, and that
something personal was said, and they said you got to
motherfucker, pay me. What you call me?
He wanted out. He fucking wanted out. I would too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan Tannehill, come on.
Yo, Jalen legit called AJ Brown and said, because Jalen is AJ Brown's daughter's godfather. So
Before he played there?
yeah, before we played.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were buddies in college and shit. So he's the godfather to AJ Brown's niece or AJ Brown's
nice.
daughter, and they're talking. He goes, "Yo, I'm gonna ask Howie to trade for you," and they're just both laughing. And he goes to Howie, and then on draft night it gets done, and that's the whole call. Like when they show like the video, like them both laughing.
Yeah, I've seen that. I didn't know that was why.
Yeah, it's because Jalen Hurts was like, "I'm gonna tell Howie to go get you." And that's why they're both laughing. He's like, bruh, like, I told you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it shows you.
I think this is a show-out game. Yeah. I think this is like a 31, 34, 17. I think in my heart of hearts, I feel like there's a 100-yard receiver and there's a 100-yard rusher. I feel like they really do their best to try to control the clock. I think Swift is the guy that kind of gets the bulk of the carries.
Yeah,
and I think – And Trav, to go back to something you said, I think this is a Devontae Smith. I think this is a bust-out game for him. I think there's going to be a lot of attention on A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
I think you're probably going to see a little bit more Julio Jones in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe
signing
some of those catches from Goddard. I think this is a show me piece for the Birds, and I think it kind of kicks off and really does put the league on notice to say, like, this team isn't going anywhere. This team is going to be here for a while. And then the Super Bowl is going to run through this town.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a crash course with San Francisco, and I think Philly takes them. Not like last year, obviously, but I think they get them in a close one.
Agreed.
I just don't trust Brock. Like, I'm a big Brock guy. I really am, mainly from fantasy. Like he's in such a great situation.
Yeah.
But
he was Jimmy
real
G,
life 2-minute drill versus that Philly defense, when you need a touchdown or you need a field goal, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, he's getting that 3. He's probably getting that 7. That's a difference in those two guys, and that's a difference in going to the Super Bowl or not. We'll see. Until Brock shows us he can do that. He hasn't had a lot of chances because for the most part, it's been pretty much clockwork, but they're loaded. I think it's going to be a hell of a championship game to get there.
Hell yeah. It's going to be fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, listen, we're going to take a commercial break. On the way back, it's all things
fantasy.
Vonsey Brewing Company is a 20-barrel, 16,000-square-foot microbrewery with a 2,500-square-foot tasting room, including a spacious outside beer garden in Norristown, PA, in the heart of Montgomery County. The Vonsey family is part of the family that started C. Schmidt and Son Brewing in 1860. Stop in Wednesday through Sunday and taste a variety of draft and 16-ounce cans of originally brewed beer and tell them the Drunk on Broad crew sent you. Vonsey Brewing is located at 1210 Stenbridge Street, Suite 300 in Norristown. Cheers.
Team Clicks are the only glasses for real sports fans. With interchangeable arms, you can support all of your favorite teams, or even make and create custom options as well. These die-hard sports fans have realized that sports fans needed something other than face paint to show their love and passion for their teams. Go to teamclicks.com/DOB and show your love for your hometown team.
La Torrent's curated collection of men's and women's watches is a perfect investment that lasts for years to come and fits perfectly with your every outfit and style. Our range of classic watches aren't just a great perfect formal and casual accessory, but a time machine that takes you back to memories. Explore our collection of timeless watches that can reflect your taste, personality, and personal style. Our exclusive collection of carefully curated, affordable luxury watches is what you need to make a personalized style statement. You can take pride in your prized possession, handing it over to the next generations as your most loved asset that they can also own and display with the same pride. These high-quality pieces stand the test of time, giving exceptional value and return on your investment. Go to Touraim.com and use code DOB at checkout and get 10% off.
If you're looking for unique sports apparel, check out Streaker Sports. They've dug deep into the archives and have brought back some incredible defunct team logos and have even created entire defunct league collections. They also have collections paying homage to sports culture, including the Miracle on Ice, Slap Shot, Caddyshack, the Mighty Ducks, and even have a license with Wiffle Ball and USA Hockey. Only for Drunk on Broad listeners, use code BROAD at checkout to get 10% off anything at streakersports.com. Again, that's 10% off anything at streakersports.com with discount code BROAD.
All right, we're back, but we're back with all things fantasy, and we got the guy to talk. Trav.
I don't know about all that, damn it.
Listen, in our Golden Mike League, Trav,
you're number one.
Showing out.
You're showing out 17-3. Yeah, with you using that median score. Just
you're crushing it,
points, man. It's
gassing you up right now. You're the best.
That is one of the best lineups I have. That's for sure. Maybe the best.
It is a very good lineup.
It's been a nice ride. I kind of feel like the Eagles in that league right now.
It's going to be hard to beat you. I'll tell you that.
You're going to have to be perfect.
You're going to have to be perfect. You're going to have to hope one of Trav's guys does not score 25 points.
Yes.
And then you may win. Maybe.
All right, week 11. I'll jump into it here.
Let's go.
Got a couple different sections. We'll start with buying the big name running backs. I think that is a theme of this week. Breece Hall had a really quiet week 10, but they need to go through Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Just like Tennessee needs to go through Derrick Henry. They're not winning unless this stud running back is getting 20 to 24 touches, 100 plus yards, and a score or two. That is the only way that the Jets are winning a game. So I think they force feed it. I think the schedule for the Jets is going to be very favorable to running backs, very favorable to Breece. So just put a feeler out there. Somebody may be a little bit frustrated. You can sell somebody who's had some really big weeks and potentially buy low on Breece Hall. The next two are on bye week. Oh, you got a question?
I have a question. Why the fuck do we know this, but the coaching staff in the NFL doesn't?
I think they just, man, I don't know if it's a rep count thing that they're just not telling us about because they don't want other defenses to know that you're only going to see Breece on X amount of plays, or I don't know what's going on in their running back room, but I think
same thing goes for Tennessee because it makes no sense.
Maybe they're trying to prove, hey, Zach Wilson can do it.
Well, that's dumb.
Hey, Will Levis was a good pick. Let's show people dumb. Instead of we can only win if we go through this guy right now, so let's keep doing that.
It was your recipe for success for many years, and you should. Yeah. How to replicate success is to go back to the old days of what you were doing that helps you win. Give the Yeti fucking 30 carries.
I will say, Zach Wilson made a good point in his press conference that almost all of their big plays were called back from penalties. It was just one of those games that it felt like every first down, even a long Breece touchdown called back. Breece still had 43 through the air. Like,
it was
if that
weird.
play's not called back, there is no buy window on Breece Hall. That's how fickle it is, but it's worth a shot. Yeah. The other two are on bye week, and the people who drafted Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara, because they had to wait 3 and 4 weeks to get these guys, are probably
in last place.
They're probably 3 and 7, 4 and 6. They're in a position.
I feel good considering I'm in 7th place.
Okay, but you're in a position here where a lot of people are. If you have Alvin Kamara or Jonathan Taylor, those names will return big-time players that have already had their bye, that are healthy. Your season now is 4 one-week seasons. Every week is an elimination week. If you're 3 and 7, you can't lose another game. If you're 4 and 6, you need to win 3 out of the last 4. So in your situation, I would be okay looking to sell Alvin Kamara or Jonathan Taylor. Get a Breece Hall and something, or a Breece Hall straight up. Like, you need guys that are on the field right now. If you are 7-3 or 8-2, go buy Alvin Kamara. I bought him today for James Cook, Devin Singletary, and Rashee Rice. 3 out, Alvin Kamara in. I think James Cook is very he's going to be very inconsistent the rest of the way. But Buffalo's schedule is terrible. They almost doghoused him for the rest of the game after the fumble. He fumbled a second time and got lucky with it.
Yeah.
Singletary, I don't know. But those are the type of guys. Devin Singletary's not going to run for 130 yards and a touchdown. Maybe not again the rest of the year.
Stop that.
He'll probably could go for 70 and a chance. But Alvin Kamara in a PPR league is 8 targets a game he's averaging. Yeah. That's elite. That's elite receiver usage. So buy Jonathan Taylor, buy Alvin Kamara. 3 guys I'm selling. Saquon I've already sold. I sold 4 shares last week. If you can still sell him, sell him. He had a decent enough game that I think you still can. The Giants suck. They're not getting any better. This isn't somebody who's... It's not like they're waiting for Daniel Jones to come back next week. This is it. This is all you're going to get from New York the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards, incredibly touchdown dependent. It's been a fun ride. Keaton Mitchell is coming on very quickly in Baltimore.
Yep.
And if you wait too long for the game where Gus goes for 38 yards and no touchdown, it's too late. He's done the touchdown thing for 3 or 4 weeks now. That is just not sustainable. Mark Andrews is going to get those. Mitchell's going to get those. Odell gets those. Like, Lamar's going to run him in. I would sell Gus Edwards while you can. Finally, Raheem Mostert. I love Mostert as a player, but it does feel like it's a matter of time until he is hurt. His knee, he's questionable every week at this point with the same knee. And Devon Achane will be back this week, I think.
Hell yeah, baby.
It was very clear from the coaching staff that he should be back Thursday, at the latest Friday. And they said he looks untackleable, was their word, in practice. So, Achane is back. Many people say
Miami's defense doesn't tackle anybody.
That's very true.
They don't
he's untackleable because he's so good. Coach, what about your defense?
Yeah, Coach, has your defense tackled anybody all year? No, we haven't.
That's not what I'm saying.
All right, our defense is kind of trash. Let's be real. A lot of guys got paid a lot of money on that team.
The return of the Justins. Justin Jefferson, unfortunately, I think it's going to be another week. Still 50-50, but I was hoping to see something today. It's still another limited session. Justin Fields is back.
Yeah.
I would start him. I wouldn't start him over these next 3, but if you have the Geno Smith type where you're just not getting enough, absolutely fire Justin Fields up immediately. However, the next 3 are my 3 starts of the week at quarterback. Brock Purdy versus Tampa Bay, giving up the 5th most points per game to quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud torched them. Jared Goff.
Levis did it. Will
Levis did not. They got after Will Levis. I think the system in San Francisco is a little bit better built than the current system in Tennessee.
It's a little bit.
Jared Goff versus Chicago. We know Chicago's D is horrific. Jared Goff is smoking hot right now. The running back room there is smoking hot. I would play everybody I can other than Jameson Williams for Detroit. And finally, Sam Howell, who is the QB3 on the season. What?
Yep, just how we marked it up.
QB3 on the year. He gets the Giants this week. I think Howell has another top 10 week. And
in reverse, Terry.
I think he balls out. I'm starting Terry. I'm starting Dotson. Brian Robinson is RB4. I mean, Washington is giving us weapons. And real life, they're not a real threat to anybody. It's just one of those weird things that, like, oh, yeah, Washington sucks. Oh, I'm starting all of them. It just makes no sense.
I got Brian Robinson in one league. I traded for him, and I am so happy.
He's killing. He's the next name on the list. Brian Robinson stays hot this week versus the Giants.
Hell yeah.
Common theme.
Give me 20,000 points. I need it.
I've got Devin Singletary again. Start him. If you have him versus Arizona, Dameon Pierce still not back. There are rumors that Pierce could get shut down. If that's the case, you have stumbled into an every week RB2. Tony Pollard, I know that he's been quite frustrating as a second-round pick. Stay patient. He's been incredibly unlucky with touchdowns.
And inefficient as running. I'm just saying.
He hasn't been as efficient as we're used to, but I still think he's 4.5 something yards per carry. Like, it's okay.
He should be, honestly, the guy that they rotate in. And I'm not saying it because
Dowdle?
Yes. And I'm not saying, and here's the thing. I'm not saying it because it's the Tony Pollard role. Tony Pollard.
He's better at that. Yeah.
He's better at that role. He's better at, instead of being the grinder in first and second downs, and then they bring in Dwaddle, flip it. Just for the psyche. Not because you think Tony Pollard sucks.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
The psyche move.
I think that's a good thought process. I also think
the defense down with some guy you don't give a fuck about, and then bring him in when the defense is down and let my man run.
Dowdle's been good too. He's been effective. I think Tony Pollard got caught in a little bit of an identity shift for the Cowboys over the last 5 to 6 weeks. They basically said, we can't beat Philly. We can't beat the other teams at this level playing that way that we have been playing for years with the 1-2 punch in the backfield. Yep. We have to try to outscore people. Mm-hmm. We're not, even with a great defense, we're not keeping these games close. They have some serious injuries in the secondary, some season long. I think they've consciously made a decision of, our goal is 35 a night. If we can't get there, we're not beating these great teams. So let's just have a shootout.
Yeah.
It's the Steve Nash, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire sons.
Yeah.
We shoot in 7 seconds or less. Yeah. And we try to score 130. If we lose, we lose. But we're going to score 130. So I think that's Tony Pollard kind of, he just got caught in that. And they're trying to figure out how to use him. Like, CeeDee Lamb can't go for...
Boris Diaw.
Yeah, shout out Boris Diaw.
Yeah, Leonardo Barbosa. Shout out to the
That was a squad.
That squad was nice. That squad was nice.
Jason Richardson with a little time there too, I think.
Yeah.
Pull that one out of the vault.
That one it brings back NBA Live 2005.
Yeah, dude. I used to run the gamble with that team. Oh my god. Sean Marion with a stupid free throw. Oh man.
Yep. Wide receivers, DJ Moore. Game script should favor a pass-heavy attack for the Bears because I think Detroit puts it on them pretty good. I think they're coming from behind. Justin Fields is back. We saw Justin Fields only looking at DJ Moore and Cole Kmet for the first half of the season and last year. Mooney just completely went invisible. I think DJ Moore is going to be top 15 to 20 receiver rest of the way.
He's so
DeAndre Hopkins, he's so good. And he's 26.
He's so good. He's been in the league
it seems like he's been 26 forever. Yeah. He just doesn't age.
Right. Him and Amari Cooper. Like, Amari Cooper finally hit, 29. You're like, what the fuck?
I know.
He's been in the league for 10 years. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah.
An actual old guy, DeAndre Hopkins versus Jacksonville. This is somebody who has torched Jacksonville's whole career. I think we get a bounce back game for DeAndre Hopkins this week. I also think Tennessee is coming from behind. Jacksonville's offense, big time dud last week against San Francisco. I don't know that I would call it a shootout because I don't think these two teams are capable of a shootout, but I do think DeAndre Hopkins gets 8 catches for 90 yards and 1 to 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see that.
Finally, tight ends. Trey McBride has been in fuego. He is being absolutely fed. Yes. He was fed by the quarterbacks before Kyler Murray. Kyler comes back and continues it. I expect him to keep doing so. This one might be a shootout. I think Houston and Arizona give us some really nice fantasy football days.
Thank God.
Cole Kmet, he was killing it, as I said, with Fields pre-injury. I think it happens again. Welcome back to relevance, Cole Kmet.
Thank God.
Couple of defenses of the week. Washington, obviously they're playing the Giants. Anybody who's playing the Giants the rest of the way.
Yeah.
You should be looking 2 to 3 weeks ahead. If you're already a 1, 2, or 3 seed, start looking at week 15, 16, 17. Who's playing the Giants? I think the Eagles might get them 15, 16.
They're going to get them in. Hold on one second.
I picked him up today because I was putting this segment together, and I'm like, let me just check. Because Philly's coming off a bye, Jake Elliott's available everywhere, and the Philly D's available a lot of places. Pick up both.
It's week 17 and week 15.
Yeah, so you get, if you pick up the Philly D now, even
And
though
they're
they
going to
have a
play
tough
Arizona
schedule.
in 17.
Okay, so what people are seeing is what we talked about earlier. The Philly schedule for the next 4 or 5 is good football teams, good offenses. And normally you're like, I'm not going to start that defense.
Yeah.
If you're in a position where you have an extra roster spot and you can make the playoffs, that's a 20-point defense against those terrible teams.
Yeah.
That is how you win playoff games, is the difference. I know it sounds fucked up, but a kicker and a defense combining for 30 is unbelievable in the fantasy playoffs.
Shout out Jason Myers last week.
Lineups that have a quarterback, 2 or 3 receivers, 2 running backs, a flex, and a tight end. Kicker and a defense. Your standard 10 position team, you're shooting for 125 points a week. That's your goal. That should get you to the Super Bowl. If you get 30 from Jake Elliott and Philly defense versus the Giants, you're likely winning your matchup. Go see. I don't even care if you go trade for them. People are like, you want my defense? Trade for them. It's an advantage. I'm actually going to make a note to add this to the video for next week. Other defenses, other kickers that I think are going to have advantages, because that little stuff goes a long way.
Yeah.
That's all the fantasy I have for tonight, unless you guys have specific questions.
So I want to play a game.
Okay.
I want to play a game while we have some time. And this is always near and dear to my heart, is who you will never draft again because of how they fucked you so hard.
Okay.
So I'm going to start, and it is unfortunate that I have to say this name, but heavy offense. I mean, he's one of the most talented number 2s in the game, supported by an air raid attack. But my motherfucking man can't stay on the field, and that's T. Higgins.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't do it anymore,
How
bro.
many times can you be burned?
I'm done being blinded by the 2 years ago or last year where he had like 40 and 40 in a row.
Yeah,
Like-
it's always something.
With T, and that's the fucking problem. It's always something with T. Higgins. Like, how can you not fucking stay healthy?
Right now, somebody who's trending in that direction very quickly. Maybe an overreaction, maybe not. Christian Watson. He's feeling like he went on that 6-game stretch of historic numbers last year, and it is always something now.
He hasn't topped in a PPR league, no bonuses, standard. He hasn't topped over 12 points.
That's how
and
you
he's
lose.
only hit 11 points once.
And he's a 5th-round pick.
A fucking anybody.
You're taking,
I'm not
myself
even drafting
included,
their
you're
fucking
taking
team.
Christian Watson over Christian Kirk, and that's how you lose.
Mhm.
Christian
Or
Watson
Damian
was hurt all last year until that stretch.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Rodgers lit it up. And then he's been hurt all year, or all offseason, this offseason, playing through it into the first 2 to 3 weeks of this year. He can't get it going with Jordan Love. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in the Packers. I thought they'd be better.
Aaron Jones fucking is killing me. Don, who's your guy?
I mean, the guy that's got me frustrated this year specifically is Josh Allen. Like, I didn't think that I would ever make this comparison, but this year's got me like, it's got me feeling like Carson Wentz feels like.
Wow.
Like, it just like for whatever reason, like you remember, Trav, you remember that season in 17 where he
Guys, all the
was
talent.
like,
Nobody.
Yeah.
he could have rode the end of that season right into an MVP.
Yep.
And just never was the same. And when I look at his play, like the production and then the playoffs, and I don't know. I feel like the drop off, it just progressively got worse.
Yeah.
Every year, especially, and I feel like it got expedited as soon as Brian Dable left. And now you're seeing
That's not talked about enough.
right? And Ken Dorsey is now out the door, and now they're going to bring in another guy. And
I am excited to see what Joe Brady does with them. I think Joe Brady's a very creative play caller.
he's a guy who was.
You're
who
still
was
going to
in a lot
start
of
Josh
conversations.
Allen though. Like you
Oh.
don't have with Christian
You are, but
Watson
he's
and
got-
T Higgins. It's like sit the fuck down. But you can't sit Josh Allen.
No.
You can't, but he's got me frustrated as hell.
He is. Yeah.
And it really does make me like when I think about like quarterback value, like I can wait. Like I can wait to take the position players early, stack the lineup that way, and get a guy late. Right there in one of the drafts, I got Tua like super late, and he's
Even
been
Justin Herbert is 2 rounds later.
Justin Herbert is so fucking overrated.
But in fantasy, he's
fantasy-
so good because
Fantasy,
they're a mess. They're a shit show of an organization when it comes to game plan, and it leads to a sloppy 300 yards and 3 touchdowns week in and week out. It's like, oh, we got to come from behind because we suck.
Yeah. I got
And
another
fantasy's
one.
amazing.
So we just did guys that we're going to avoid drafting from here on out. Who is a guy that you regrettably faded on because, like last year for me, it was Derrick Henry. I'm like, it's got to come somehow. Like sometime this dominance has to stop, and he's been proving me wrong. Who is a guy you faded in almost every league because you're like, I just don't think he can do it. I don't think he can either stay healthy or time is not on his side. So, Trav, I'll let you go first, and John, and I'll finish.
Something about Michael Pittman has never drawn my eye. Every time I see him on the draft board, I'm like, it's invisible. He's not there.
Yeah.
He's just never somebody that I've said, oh, yeah, I want him. He's wide receiver 13.
Yeah.
And they've had tons of what the fuck at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's been good his whole career. He's been a round wide receiver 24 or better. And he's young, especially in Dynasty. I don't know if you guys play Dynasty, but last night on our show, it was like, in Dynasty, he is not looked at in the same tier of T. Higgins and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
He's
he
not
should be.
valued like that, which
But he
there's no
should be in
reason
there.
why he's not. Yeah, he's wide receiver
It's not
13.
a sexy name. It's Michael Pittman.
Something
It's not a
about
sexy-
something. It's like
Chris
Tyler
Olave.
Lockett.
Oh, that sounds
Tyler
good.
Lockett for years, or
Yeah.
or Chris Godwin for years. They're always 2 rounds later than they should go.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to be that guy that I'm like, just take him when he's there. Just take him. He's going to give you wide receiver 15 to 20. You're not going to need to take him out. I'm becoming a fan of Michael Pittman.
I like it. Don, who's a guy that you avoided because of either personal reasons or you think he was going to fall off?
I'm staying in the quarterback position. I didn't think that I was going to see the bounce back of Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson looks like an MVP, like every bit the MVP candidate. He had that didn't have a fantastic year last year, but really bounced back, and I would buy more shares of Lamar Jackson moving forward than I would of Josh Allen.
Lamar's a buy low right now because he's only giving you 18 a game, and everybody knows he's better than that.
Yeah.
The problem with me for Lamar is you're never getting him at a discount after that 2019 season.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to go in the 3rd round no matter what, because the average fantasy football player is going to see that and be like, it's Lamar Jackson. He's going to give me 50 a night. A bad game for Lamar is like 20. So you're right. I mean, a bad game for Josh Allen is 12.
Six.
So,
Six.
well, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Depending on your score.
Yeah. I like Lamar.
Mike-
I think people fade him. They're literally searching for reasons to fade Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That's what it's come to now. Like 2-3 years in a row, it's like, oh, he doesn't have the weapons, or he's going to get banged up, or a new offensive coordinator. They're going to run more. They're going to pass. Like, it's always something people are searching for, and he just comes out and continues to go 7-3, 8-2. Like, if you have him, you're good.
Mm-hmm. My guy,
what you got?
Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
Keenan Allen.
it's a good one.
It was so hard when he was staring me in the face like 3 times I think he went in like the 6th round in my home league. And it was like he was staring me in the face, and I'm like, this is going to be the guy that fucks me. And I
Do you know where he is right now?
Wide receiver 1 or 2?
2.
Yeah.
2.
2.
What the fuck are we doing?
I feel like
fading the PPR monster that he is.
Why do we draft Keenan Allen at the end of the 3rd round? For what?
I don't know. And I regret it. I could have.
It's because for 4 years in a row now, he's old.
Yeah.
The fall off's coming. It's like, okay, he's
the
gone
narrative.
from 10 to 6 to 4 to 2.
And you know what the thing is? It's why I stopped kind of listening to like half of like the real big fantasy podcasts, because I noticed like listening to someone like, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And then I look at like some of the rosters that they put out. Every single guy they said to fade, they have. And their team's dominating. And I'm like,
manipulation.
Yeah, basically manipulating me out of wanting to draft these guys because it's going to be, Mike Evans is going to be trash. Mike Evans is fucking doing really well.
They get people drunk on rookies.
Yeah, and then they get me drunk on Dameon Pierce and Joe Mixon every year, and I keep fucking doing it to myself. Like, why? I need to be better. I need to be better, guys.
Trav, speaking of who's the guy the rookie guy that you did not expect?
A-Chain?
Yeah, A-Chain's a good one. I definitely thought, and I probably can be quoted pretty easily from our preseason shows. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, A-Chain, it's a 3-headed monster at best. Then Jeff Wilson goes down, A-Chain looks like untackleable. And I think he's going to be doing this for a while. Like with Tyreek Hill, speed kills. Well, A-Chain is right there with him in every foot race. Speed kills. He's going to be doing it for a while. And Jordan Addison too. I mean, Jordan Addison immediately opposite Justin Jefferson. I'm like, there's not enough. There's not enough on the table other than Hawkinson and Jefferson for Addison to be consistent. And I know Jefferson's been hurt, but Addison was good with Jefferson there.
What do you think about CJ Stroud?
Baller. I'm from Houston. I wouldn't say that I turned in my fandom card, but fuck, it was really hard with Bill O'Brien and the ownership that was going on in Houston for a while.
Oh, 1,000%.
When they traded away Hopkins and let J.J. Watt go, it was like half of the fans were like, well, then we're going too. Until you get something else, you just gave away our heart. Like our heart and soul were those two guys. And then Watson was out, and it went really poorly on the way out. It was a tough time. Something that we say on our show is you get your team and then you get a secondary team. Because if something really bad happens with your team, you got to root for a secondary team. Mine's the Packers, which has been a primary team, given you had Favre and Rodgers forever.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, I'm back with the Texans now until the Packers figure their shit out.
Trav, at some point, do the Texans and Titans have to play to decide who's going to keep the Oilers throwbacks?
I can't believe they wore that shit. How can you wear that when there was no Titans when they had those uniforms? Those are ours. CJ Stroud should be wearing that shit.
Like that's the kind of thing. Like
I love those uniforms.
They're cool.
They're pretty sweet, man. Like Like I feel like the Browns and the Ravens, if the Ravens wore throwback unis, but they were old Browns unis, like
it feels wrong.
It does.
Or the Baltimore Colts.
Get your own.
All of a sudden, they come out being the Colts.
Especially since the Texans don't have throwback jerseys; they're too young.
Yeah,
they're too young.
Yeah, they'll just throw David Carr's lifeless body back there. That's their throwback jerseys: grass stains and David Carr's blood.
Good point.
He died for CJ Stroud.
Who's your MVP?
Oh man, it's probably too early, but I think it's going to be the same. I think it's going to be the Hurts. Maybe CJ Stroud is in there. Mahomes will be in there. McCaffrey should be in there.
Yeah.
That fucking dude is different, man.
When he's healthy, he's ridiculous.
I think he's the best
they fucking
football
stole him.
player of our decade right now.
And he's done it with absolute nobodies at quarterback.
He's
or
unbelievable.
Guys who were elite and then fell off.
Yeah.
Like I give him a lot of credit.
I think it's too close. It's too close to have that conversation for me right now. Well, too early too.
Stole him. Yeah.
They really did.
They stole him.
They AJ Brown Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. They should have gave up a lot more. And Jesus Christ. If they don't have CMC, that team looks way different.
Much different.
Crazy stuff. Well, listen, Rich, let's do final thoughts. What do you got?
Oh, final thoughts, man. Go Birds. Go Birds. Just go out there. Fucking go Birds. Fuck Dallas. Fucking bums. I'm sick of the narrative. I'm sick of the fucking narrative. I'm sick of turning on the fucking TV. Dallas is a Super Bowl contender. Beat a team that's 500, then fucking talk to me. Beat a team that's 500 and fucking talk to me. I'm sick of watching all this bullshit. You want to push the Cowboys down my fucking throat. You want to give me fucking all the bullshit with Kansas City because fucking Patrick Mahomes is the new Tom Brady. Protect your golden boy. Phenomenal. But let's talk about the real football that's going on. The Eagles are 8-1. ESPN, you disrespectful motherfuckers, ranking them 8th as the 8th best team in the NFL. It's fucking stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And I'm sick and tired of the fucking Steelers looking like shit. Why? There's a lot of shit invested in their players, and their offense is atrocious. Stop. They are the worst fucking 500 or above team. I don't know how they're doing it. It makes me sick. Be better, everybody. Go Birds. That's what I got. I had a lot of
you got a final thought?
Final thought is Eagles beat the Chiefs.
Let's go.
In a stress-free fourth quarter. And can we please get some fucking good games on primetime?
Thank you. Flex
full
them
circle
out.
Here.
You did this for a reason, NFL. You said you'd flex games out. You've yet to do it because you're morons.
Listen, my final thought on the way out, I think that at some point it only seems appropriate that the Thursday night games become the throwback Thursday. That you wear the retro jersey on Thursday night. You put everybody gets a Thursday night game. I mean, it seems only right, considering the entire internet does a throwback Thursday on Thursday.
Yeah.
Throwback Thursday on Amazon Prime.
But I love seeing the retro jerseys, right? The Eagles Kelly Greens are elite. The Seahawks from the Steve Largent days are phenomenal.
Yes.
The Oilers, we were just talking about, those are great. Just seeing, I love even the Browns all whites. They're great. Just seeing some of the old retro nostalgia stuff is just a great place to I think refocus the use, because it seems really random, the way
it does.
I would love to be able to see and know that my team's going to wear those uniforms and not just they're going to wear them against the Dolphins and the Bills. They're not even wearing them.
We're going to wear them in Germany. All right.
The Germans just started watching football.
You could have had you could have had them wear the Giants throwbacks and the Eagles wear have it in a division game. Something.
I agree.
It just, or the fact that one team's wearing them, the other team isn't. It just feels weird. But
agreed.
On that note, Rich, take us home.
You stuck around, you fucked around, you found out. I'm Rich. That's Don. That's Coach Trav from Losing Sucks. Follow the boys. Listen, always good content, always good advice. If you have anything, hit him up on Twitter. He will answer your questions. He will help you out with your lineups. He will help you out with your trades, your keeps, your cuts, and listen to our show for the waiver wire pickups and any information that you need to help be successful in your fantasy football league. You can count on the guys from Losing Sucks. Again, I'm Rich. That's Don. That's Trav. And as always, fuck Ben Simmons. Fuck James Harden. Fuck Jonathan Gannon. Fuck Deshaun Watson, you pervy piece of shit. Davion Taylor, you're good. You're off the list. Jonathan Gannon, I said him. And as always, fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. Go Birds. Drunk on Bro.
Birds.
Chef's kiss.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
E-A-G-L-E-S!